Good morning, everyone. My name is Tairu Wada, and you are welcome to Learning and Earning series with Tairu Boost IQ. Subscribe to this channel for more tutorials like this. Welcome to Learning and Earning series with Tairu Boost IQ, Series 3, Part 2 on the topic Quadratic Equation. Solve quadratic equation using factorization method. An example, solve the following. Solve open bracket s minus 3 close bracket square equals to 25 using factorization method, and solve 9s open bracket s plus 1 close bracket equals to 4 using factorization method. Now, case 1. Solve s minus 3 all closed square equals to 25 using factorization method. Solution. The first thing we have to do is for us to open the bracket. We open the bracket by having, since we are having s minus 3 all square, since there are two, we are going to have s minus 3 and s minus 3. We close our bracket equals to 25. S squared minus 3s, s times s is s squared, minus 3 times s is minus 3s, and minus 3 times s will give us minus 3s, minus 3 times minus 3 is plus 9 equals to 25. Then we now have our s squared. Minus 3s minus 3 will give us minus 6s plus 9 equals to 25. Subtract minus 25 from both sides so that we can get rid of this 25 because this place has to be 0. Then we now have s squared minus 3, 6s plus 9 minus 25 is equals to what? 25 minus 25. Then we now have s squared minus 6s, and 9 minus 25 will give us minus 16, and 25 minus 25 is 0. Step 2. Test the discriminant quadratic expression b squared minus 4ac, whether it's 0 or a perfect square. The reason why we are doing it, we don't want to waste our time. We want to know whether this equation can be factorized or no. If the answer is 0, it can be factorized, and if the answer is perfect square, it can also be factorized. S squared minus 4s minus 16 is equals to 0. At this point, our a is 1, our b is minus 6, and our c is minus 16. Put a equals to 1 and b equals to 6 and c equals to minus 16 into what? B squared minus 4ac. And minus 6 squared will give us what? 36. Then we now have 4 times 1 times minus 16 will give us what? Minus 64. Minus times minus will give us plus. Then 36 plus 64 is 100. And 100 is a perfect square. So it can be what? Factorized. Then we move to the next step. Multiply the first term and the last term together. What is our first term here? Our first term here is s squared. Our second term is minus 6s, and our third term is what? Minus 16. So we are going to multiply this s squared by what? Minus 16. And that will give us what? Minus 16s squared. Then the second term, we are going to put it as sum of minus 6, which is the second term will serve as what? This minus 6s will be our what? The sum of what? Minus 6s. What is another way of writing minus 6x? We can write minus 6s as well, 0s minus 6s, and 0s times minus 6s is 0. We are looking for two numbers that we can add that will give us minus 6x, and when we times them, that we can have what? Minus 16s squared. Then we increase this one to what? 1x. 1s minus 7s will still give us minus 6x. And when we times 1 times minus 7 is still minus 7s squared. Then we increase this one to 2 again. 2s minus 8x will give us what? Minus 6s. 2 times minus 8 is minus 16, and s times s is equals to s squared. Perfect. We have seen number that we can subtract that will give us minus 6s, and when we times that will give us what? Minus what? 16s squared. So the next thing, we move to step 4, which means we are going to replace that our second term, which is minus 6x, with what? 2s minus 8x in the given equation, which is s squared minus 6s minus 16 equals to 0. Instead of writing minus 6s this time around, we are going to plug in 2s minus 8x. And that's why we have s squared plus 2s minus 8s minus 6s is equals to 0. Then we'll close this bracket. S squared plus 2s minus 8s minus 16s is equals to 0. Check, what did they have in common? Both of them has fs. We factor s out from what? S squared plus 2s here. Then what is the highest number that can divide 8 and 16 is 8. So we factor 8 out from what? 8s minus 16x. So at this point, we now have s, open bracket, s plus 2. Then we look at the 8 that we have factored out. How do we get this plus 2? We say minus 16 divided by minus 8. Minus 16 divided by minus 8. Minus will cancel minus. And 16 divided by 8 is 2. So at this point, we are going to pick this x and minus 8x. Then we have what? S minus 8. Then we have s plus 2 and s plus 2 here. We pick one. So we pick s minus 8 and s plus 2 and equate them to be equals to 0. So at this point, we have s minus 8, close bracket, and s plus 2 equals to 0. Then we now have s minus 8 is equals to what? 0. Whenever a negative sign cross equal sign to change to positive, then we have s is equals to 0 plus 8, and our s is equals to 8. Then the other side, we have s plus 2 is equals to 0. Whenever a positive cross equal sign to change to negative, then s is equals to 0 minus 2. S is equals to what? Minus 2. This is how to solve quadratic equation using factorization method. Case 2. Solve 9s open bracket s plus 2 equals to 0 using factorization method. Solution. Step 1, we have to open the bracket first. We now have 9s times 9s will give us what? 9s squared. 9s times plus 1 will give us what? Plus 9s equals to 4. For us to get rid of this 4, we subtract minus 4 from both sides. We now have 9s plus 9s. 9s squared plus 9s minus 4 is equals to what? 4 minus 4. Then 4 minus 4 is equals to 0. Then this now becomes our new quadratic equation. Step 2. Test the discriminant quadratic expression b squared minus 4ac, whether it's 0 or a perfect what? Square. Now, at this point, our a is what? 9. Our b is also 9. And our c is what? Minus 4. Then we now put a equals to 9, b equals to plus 9, and c equals to minus 1 into b squared minus 4ac. 9 squared is what? 81. Okay? And what? 4 times 9 will give us 36. And 36 times minus 4 will give us what? Minus 36. Will give us minus 144. At this point, minus times minus will give us plus. And 81 plus 144 will give us 222. And 222 is the perfect square because square root of 225 is equals to 15. So it can be factorized since it's a perfect square. Then we'll move to step 3. Multiply the first term by the last term. What is the first term here? The first term here is what? 9s squared. The second term here is 9s, and the third term here is minus 4. So we are interested in multiplying the 9s squared by minus 4, which is going to give us minus 36. So we now have 9s squared times minus 4 is equals to what? Minus 36s squared. Then we plug in the second term here. Here we are looking for two numbers that we can add that will give us what? 9s, and when we multiply them, that will give us what? Minus 36. Now, what is another way of writing plus 9s? We can write 9s minus 0s to still give us what? Plus 9s. And 9s times 0s is 0. Then we increase this one to 1. 10s minus 1s is still 9. And 10s times minus 1s will give us what? Minus 10s squared. Then we increase this one to 1. 11s minus 2s is still what? 9s. And 11s times minus 2 is minus 22s squared. Then we increase this one to 12s. 12s minus 3s will give us 9s. And 12s minus 3s times minus 3 will give us what? Minus 36s squared. Correct. So at this point, we are going to replace plus 9s with 12s minus 3s in a given equation. 9s squared plus 9s minus 4 equals to 0. Instead of writing 9s this time around, we are going to plug in 12s minus 3s. Then 9s plus 12s minus 3s now is equals to 0. We close our bracket. Then minus 3s plus 4. Now, what number do you think can divide 9 and 12 without remembering that the highest is 12x? So we are going to factor 12x out from 9s plus 12x because 3x can divide 9 and 3 can also divide 12. Then when you check this one, they don't have anything in common. So we are going to factor just one out. Now, 9s squared divided by 3s squared. 9 divided by 3 will give us 3. This s squared, one of the s will cancel, we are left with x. Here now 12 divided by 3 is 4. Then the x will cancel x. We are left with 3x open bracket 3x plus 4 then minus 1. We see that they don't have anything in common. You can see that the two brackets are now the same. So we pick 3x minus 1 and we pick 3x plus 4 from these two and equate them to be 0. Now have 3x minus 1 close bracket open bracket 3x plus 4 close bracket equals to 0. Then we have 3x minus 1 is equals to 0. When a negative sign cross equal sign to change to plus, 3x is equals to what? 0 plus 1. Or 3x is equals to what? 0 minus 4. When a positive sign cross equal change to minus, then we divide both sides by 3 for this side. Okay? So 3x over 3, 3 will cancel 3, we are left with x. And this one will now become what? 1 all over 3. At this point, we divide both sides by 3, 3 cancel 3, then minus, we now left with minus 4 all over 3. This is how to solve what? Quadratic equation using factorization method whenever we encounter question like this. Subscribe to this channel for more tutorial like this. Thank you.